Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, and welcome to episode 42 of Technolotics. I'm Francis McGillicuddy.
And I'm me.
Yaaar. In case you
That's
don't
what
know.
it was.
Yeah.
Shit, I couldn't remember.
Anyway, let's get straight to it. News from the world of Yaaar.
Piratical news.
Piratical news for you pirates out there. The Pirate Party, the Swedish land of Sweden, where pirates are welcome.
The Swedish land of Sweden. Right.
It's Friday. It's been a long and not very hard week.
Long and
for
winding
me.
road.
And anyway, the Pirate Party in Sweden has launched their own darknet. So this is going to be a commercial darknet which you can pay a subscription and essentially file share beyond the reach of the MPAA or the IAA. I almost said IRA. I was like,
You're never beyond the reach of the IRA.
No, you're not. They'll get you anywhere, even behind the anonymous IP address. Anyway, this also goes along with a similar story that one person has tried to come up with an owner-free file system which is meant to circumvent copyright restrictions. So you have a file, it's copyrighted, and you want to be able to share it without the RIA or MPA getting a hold of you. So it makes use of encryption and using, essentially mashing together two copyrighted files together using encryption so that both copyright owners can claim that they own the file, but of course that's not really allowed because you can't have two owners. So essentially it's in a legal limbo. However, this probably won't stand up to any kind of legal challenge. You know, it's
a pile of wank, in fairness.
It's crap.
It's about as effective as like dividing the file into saying it's 200 film or something. No, it's not.
Or changing.
Won't work.
Moving all these.
It's a completely different book. Look, it doesn't have any ease.
It doesn't have any ease.
The form is
Foreign language
ill-head.
written by someone else.
No, don't trust yourself to these feeble measures. Don't trade files. It's very foolish. It's terrible.
No, unless you create.
Definitely don't use BitTorrent.
Then share.
Okay.
It's good to share.
Moving on, quickly.
Okay, the NSA Wiretapping scandal, we've covered it many a time.
Too many times.
It's been ruled unconstitutional by a judge, so hooray! And there's an injunction in place at the moment preventing the NSA from carrying out any more wiretapping. However, the US government is almost certain to appeal this, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court. And Yes, Supreme. The Supreme Court. So it's going to essentially come down to a question of whether state secrets privilege overrules the Constitution. So is the government allowed to keep certain things secret even though it might breach, what they're doing might breach the Constitution? So in the past, the Supreme Court has actually ruled in favour of the state secrets privilege. So it might not be looking good for that. However, the EFF are very positive about it. They think it's a positive step that at least one judge has seen the light and has ruled against it. But in the long term,
Supreme Court packed with judges by Bush and his father before him, it's not going to be an easy ride.
it's not likely. It's highly unlikely, but at least there's a chance. But certainly they're probably already in the process of stopping the injunction so that they can continue wiretapping until it gets ruled.
And does it really matter at the end of the day? They've already got echelon, they're already reading and listening to everything that you write and speak and say. So at the end of the day, it's going to happen either way, whether it's above ground or underground. And this is all really an exercise in boredom. Okay, moving on. The Iranian president, whose name I'm going to attempt to pronounce. Okay, it is has a blog, and this blog details in fine and English detail his life. It's an autobiography so far, laying into the great Satan of the United States of America and explaining how evil and terrible the Shah was, which in fairness he was. It's kind of ironic though, because if you're in Iran, you're going to find it quite difficult to use the internet at all, never mind blog, and keep the use of both hands. They like to sever and leave on spikes to scare the rest of the population. So this is heavily propagandist, obviously, and quite amusingly written. And here's an interesting quote. The last year of my high school, I prepared myself for university admission test concours. And later in that year, I don't know why he's Indian.
He definitely did it in a Meath / Arab accent.
Although I had nosebleed during the test, I became 132nd student among over 400,000 participants. Wow.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Then he executed all the...
He did.
ones.
That's how he got. He killed the other 399,000 and etc. So read his blog if you want to subject yourself to some interesting propaganda from the other side of the axis of evil.
Evil.
Okay.
Anyway, also related to that, we have journalist Seymour Hersh. Ooh, Hersh, that's quite an interesting. Hersh. Okay. It's been boring. Okay, he's alleged in the New Yorker that essentially the US and Israel planned to attack Lebanon ages back. So this isn't some reaction to two soldiers being abducted. It's actually just convenient timing that they went, we've got an excuse, let's go! Let's roll a plan, attack Lebanon. Plan attack.
Creatively named,
They've
obviously.
really ran out of ideas, like, I mean, you know...
Eagle Talon was taken, so we had to call it Plan Attack Lebanon.
You know, who sits around and thinks up the names for those things? I mean, obviously they run out at some stage. Steve.
Yeah.
Steve. Acronym.
No, it's just Steve.
Alright, just Steve. Anyway, so...
Yeah, this is really surprising because if you've been following the whole Haruckus in the Lebanon, you'll know that this happened all the time. There have been plenty of Israeli soldiers kidnapped by Hezbollah in the past, and it hasn't warranted an invasion of the Lebanon. And in fact, invading Lebanon really didn't do much to decrease Hezbollah's popularity. It did quite the opposite. Lebanon, which was not pro-Israeli but definitely anti-Hezbollah, has now become a hotbed of Hezbollah activity, and Israel lost the war. So that whole plan was kind of crap, really, wasn't it?
Hooray! And some Irish soldiers might be going in there, just chat between them. So you'll have Israel and Hezbollah on each side, and some paddies in the middle going, Jesus lads, will you all get along?
If you volunteer for the Irish Army, you should be shot anyway. Okay, no, I don't mean that, but you know, you're a bit of a twat in fairness. Okay, moving on. How copyright screws up education. Yes, so those of you who have attended education in the recent past, university or college, might have found copyright screwing up your attendance. Your college classes might have become more confused by the fact that your lecturer couldn't copy chapters from books or even use illustrations. I know myself, I found I had a really hard neuroscience course. We watched the lectures, the notes were all up and projected on the screen. When we got the lecture notes, they had all the pictures taken out and they didn't mean anything because they were 90% pictures of the brain, it being neuroscience, so really couldn't do the course very well. So there's been a study conducted by the Berkman Center for Internet and Security, and they found that this is a growing problem. DRM locking on study materials, difficulties obtaining rights to copy stuff for legitimate educational uses, and undue caution by publishers in giving the freedom to copy their information for students. Now it's a difficult one because obviously academic publishers, they have a small market and they need to lock it down to a certain extent to make the continuing publication of books profitable. They also charge a ridiculous amount for books, and this does seem to be a case of
do they even have a special paper or something?
They do, gold paper.
Gold paper.
Leafed paper, yeah.
Cool.
I swear though.
Pressed by Virgin.
When you buy one of those €100 textbooks, you're just like, this better blow me while I'm studying. And even then, a paper blowjob is not going to do it, really.
No, paper cuts, imagine.
Jesus. Origami, wet and soggy. Okay.
Ooh. Ooh, get me hot. Anyways, pretty soon we're going to have to fly naked. So,
I already fly naked.
Oh, do you?
I do?
Yes.
No, I don't. I could. If they'd let me. Okay.
Yes. He's tried and failed.
I have
to
tried.
fly naked.
Okay, anyways.
Okay, yeah, you don't want to go
Please
there.
come
Anyway,
come on.
continuing with the story. Okay, so this has been a crazy week for false alarms and overblown threats and growing skepticism as to the legitimacy of many security services which are pointing everywhere going, terrorist, terrorist, help, he's got water, ah!
No, it's a liquid explosive.
Oh, it's a liquid explosive.
If you shake water hard enough, it will explode.
Yeah, exactly, it's carbonated. I mean, if you shake it at a million miles an hour, it'll blow the plane into pieces.
If you continue shaking that like that, you're going to do more than blow the plane. You're going to shoot your wad.
Exactly, there'll be
in
an
my
explosion.
face. And I don't want that again.
Be an explosion. Yeah, exactly. There's another dangerous weapon.
Yeah, don't let that kind of liquid. They should drain everyone before you go.
Exactly.
There should be another queue.
Exactly.
Another use for the plastic glove. Finally, you won't mind getting probed so much.
No.
As long as they find the prostate halfway through.
Exactly. Halfway through. But definitely not
Continue on the route. Because we all know fisting.
Where's that? Anyway, so thing is, okay, so during the week we've had various flights being stopped and diverted for various reasons, and planes being unloaded and people detained for hours and hours, and we've one UK bomb threat where one senior official said it was a plan by terrorists to cause untold death and destruction. Now about 22 people have been arrested for this, and they were surveilling them for about a year, yet they found nothing. And suddenly some guy gets tortured in Pakistan and goes, oh yeah, they're going to kill everybody! So they must be arrested. So
it does make you wonder. It does.
It's probably tenuous evidence, and really, you know, how far are they going to push this? And one way is you might have to fly naked, drugged, and in a manless plane on your own, surrounded by 50 million jet fighters.
I'm sure you'd prefer to be naked in a manful plane, would you? Right, yeah, okay, well, more naked men later. That's it, really, except for our media pimp. This is the shortest show ever, and that's the best thing ever, awesome. I'm going to pimp America in Colour, which is an exhibition online of colour photos from 1930s and 40s, which is just kind of weird, really, when you look at people back then in colour.
In colour?
Yeah, it makes more sense in my head.
When the world was black and white back then, actually, really.
I'm pretty sure it was, and it was painted before that. Those were the days. It took years to flow along.
Exactly. You can be going around as a black and white for years until they got around to it.
Black and white. I'm not even going to push that where I should. So what's your media pimp?
My media pimp is... I know this sounds terrible after flying naked, but it's Bill Biggarts' final exposure. But it's not what you think. It's actually... Bill Biggart was a photographer, and 9/11 happened, and he happened to be in New York, and essentially he kept walking towards the World Trade Centers, taking photo after photo along the way until, unfortunately, one of the buildings fell on him.
Yeah, it's a fucking put it like that, though.
Well, he was there, he was being a journalist, a photojournalist, and, well, one of the buildings collapsed, and unfortunately he was caught under it. And the SD card in his digital camera somehow managed to survive it. And one of his friends got the card and just tried it, and he managed to recover all these photos. So it's, wow, it's pretty interesting. It's a bit slow, the website loading, but like it's pretty awesome images.
Photos.
Yeah, pretty awesome images. So check that out.
Okay, well, thank you for
listening.
Or listening, or both at once.
Both at once.
Yeah.
That was track number 2 from the album Conquers the World by Electric Frankenstein from Magnatune.com.